Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. I hope you're all doing well. You will of course know that there's a terrible situation in the world where the Ukraine have been attacked by Russia. There are many Jews in the Ukraine. I know some of them personally. And our thoughts and prayers are firstly, of course, with our brethren, but more importantly, with all the innocent people of the Ukraine, and we hope and pray that there'll be a very speedy end to this conflict, and it shouldn't lead to losses of life, and peace will hopefully, please God, be restored. We have to pray. What better time is there to come back to shul and to daven to Hashem and to reconnect, so that we will, please God, merit to see peace and tranquility all around the world. The Sedra this week, Vayakhel Pekudei, just before I go into the Sedra, it's also actually one of the first of four special readings this time of year we add, called the four parishes. And this one is Shekolim, reminding us that in temple times, the Jewish people would now be donating their half shekel to next year's communal sacrifices, etc. They had like a communal pot, and everybody, whether they liked it or not, had to give a minimum amount of half a shekel. And this was the time of year they collected it, so that we don't forget this practice. We read about it on this coming Shabbos. But the Sedra Vayakhel is really a description of how the Mishkan, how the tabernacle was made. In other words, the instructions were given in the last few portions, and now it's quite more or less repeated, sometimes almost word for word, that now they actually actioned and did as God had instructed them. Now, if you were going to put up a big building, a tabernacle, it was a big project, and it was called an infrastructure project, in just a few months, one would imagine that you would need a very, very experienced project manager. We know it can take many, many years to get to such a project together, and here it was being done very quickly. So who did God choose to be the leader, the lead architect, the lead designer, the manager of the whole process? It was somebody called Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur. And how old was this Bezalel, you may wonder? Well, we're told he was actually 13 years old. 13 years old, yes, Hashem chose a bar mitzvah boy to put together this project. In fact, this is not the only time we find Hashem trusting someone so young. King Solomon, when he built the temple, we were told he was actually only 12 years old. So why was it that God chose such youth to develop this magnificent structure that they carried around with them around the desert? And Rabbi Beryl Wine, he suggests that one of the reasons was because it's youth and enthusiasm that makes things happen. Sometimes we can get old, and then we don't want to take risks anymore. We don't want to start new things. Taking chances, that is for the young. As one gets older, one's risk aversion grows, one drives a bit slower, one takes life a bit more in the slow lane. In order to get this project going quickly, Hashem wanted to bring in a youngster, somebody who'd have the energy and the drive, who won't be put off. We often see sometimes a footballer might break through as a teenager, and suddenly they, fearless, and they score goals, etc. And then as they get older, sometimes they don't have that same fearlessness about them, and it can slow them down, it can hamper them. So Hashem wanted to have it done with energy and with zeal and speed, and therefore, obviously, this Bezalel was a great prodigy. We're told he understood everything, how to do things. He was an immense talent, and of course, he had Moses, and with him somebody called Oholiab. I don't know his age, but he had support and sounding boards and advice for when he needed it. But ultimately, he directed it because Hashem wanted it done with enthusiasm. And that's a value we can take. Yes, we may not be all young, but we have to act. If we want to get things done, we have to act with energy and enthusiasm. We're told that Joshua, Yehoshua, is referred to as a nar, as a lad, and if you work it out, at that time he was already 60 years old. The commentators say he was a nar because he did everything like a youth. He did it fast, with enthusiasm, with what we call in Yiddish, with a bren, with fire. He acted. He didn't wait. He didn't make meetings to make another meeting, to make another meeting. He got things done with that energy. And that's, please God, what we're going to need. If we're going to rebuild, people have to roll back the years. You're as young as you feel. And, and really, we have to move the community. Of course, it will not necessarily act a young community, but we have to start rolling back the years, going back to how we behaved a few years ago before we heard of COVID, and trying to put that energy and enthusiasm into things, into events, and coming to shul, etc. And that way, please God, we will rebuild. Wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you soon.